Hello guys! New Tamos has arrived to the lands of Mobile Legends. Today I will tell you why he became so overpowered and how to use Tamos' potential to win matches more often. We won't waste time in vain. Let's go! Tamos is an explainer which was a popular hero some time ago. Some time ago, I mean in times when on the explain you could meet such fighters as Balmond, Freya, Cho, Alpha, Ruby, Terizla and others. Tamos had some unique, interesting mechanics which was good for that meta. But after appearing such fighters as Yujon, Khalid, Pakita, Barats, Phoveus, Sylvana and others, Tamos' popularity among players lowered, because mentioned heroes was much more effective. Then meta was changing several times, but Tamos didn't return to the explain. His capabilities didn't match to those metas. Pakita had incredible damage and too much controlling effects. Phoveus had unique skills which affected game a lot because it helped to focus on the heroes who had very high mobility. Yujon was perfect initiator who besides could kill any vulnerable hero without any problems and so on. As a result, Tamos became a forgotten hero, but he promised to return. In recent patch 1.6.84, the developers has optimized Tamos and the changes that affected him can give Tamos a ticket to the meta list. But let's talk about everything in order. The first and I think the most necessary change is that Tamos kisses no longer stop upon hitting creeps. In theory, it may seem like a minor change, but in practice, everything is completely different. New mechanics of Tamos' first skill makes him more effective in confrontations 1 vs 1 on the X-plane. Now you don't have to choose the best position to hit an enemy. You can easily focus on him and, as a result, dominate on the lane more often. Besides, you can retrieve your skills whenever you want to. You just need to use the first skill again and that's all. This may seem like a minor change too, but for players who often plays Tamos and who knows this hero, it might be useful. I will explain why. Firstly, it increases Tamos' efficiency on the lane. You can push your enemy in the right direction or just deal extra damage when you need it. Secondly, it's easier for you to control enemy creeps. You can push them out from under the turret and save a few seconds without taking any damage. Killing creep packs between the first and the second enemy turret will be a little faster and easier. If you don't know, players do like this before leaving their lane for some time, to help the team and not to have their turret destroyed or the lane pushed too far. And thirdly, you can interrupt casting of some enemy skills by retrieving the skills when you need to. Previously, it was possible to forcibly retrieve the skills only by using the second skill, which could be in cooldown. There is one more change that affects Tamos' potential too. After retrieving the skills, Tamos' next basic attack creates a burst of lava energy beneath the target. It erupts after a while and deals true damage to the targets who stay on that place. In past, the delay was 2 seconds, but now it's only 0.7 seconds. This fact increases the total amount of possible damage that Tamos can deal. At the same time, Mobile Legends developers removed a feature to set fire to the target's Tamos attacks. However, you should know that this feature didn't give you opportunity to inflict a huge amount of damage. I say it from my own experience because before I became a jungler, I often played on the X-plane and Tamos was one of my main heroes. So, as you can see, even few minor changes can affect Tamos' potential a lot. Guys, by the way, if you want me to make an episode with Tamos gameplay, tell me about it in the comments. And you should know that I make different content which might be useful for many of you. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for not to miss the next episodes. Now we will talk about last change which affected Tamos, greatly increased his effectiveness at all stages of the game. And then I will show you build of items and emblems which I recommend to use. After releasing the patch, Tamos got a new effect added to his ultimate. When activating the skill, he gains from 500 to 1500 extra HP for duration and restores the same amount of HP. This fact allows Tamos to receive impossible amounts of damage in teamfights and thereby give his team an additional advantage. Effect of increasing and restoring Tamus' HP also makes him relevant in the late game. It's necessary, because before this patch Tamus was almost useless in the late game. I say it from my own experience. Let's summarize. New Tamus is able to show himself pretty good at any stage of the game. He is strong 1 vs 1 in the early game, can both inflict and receive a lot of damage in teamfights, doesn't lose his effectiveness in the late game. Thanks to this all, new Tamus has all the chances to become popular among players and join the meta list. He can not only to compete with meta heroes, but even to be more effective than some of them. Because who among fighters could inflict and receive such damage and impose so aggressive game? This is an advantage of this hero. But you need to practice a lot to understand when he will be good and when he will not. I want to give you simple advice. Never take Tamus when your enemies have many controlling effects. For example, I would never play Tamus if there were such heroes against me as Franka, Uranus, Kagura, Brody and Gusion. If you want me to make an episode with full Tamus guide, let me know about it. To end this episode, I will show you build which I recommend. Let's start with emblems. For Tamus it's better to use fighter emblems, and there are two options. Physical defense, attack speed and spell wamp, or magic defense, attack speed and spell wamp. In the second line I recommend attack speed because it will increase Tamus' survivability while using his ultimate. Battle spells. Vengeance is the best option, but you can choose from Flicker, Purify, Petrify, even Revitalize and so on. It's depending on the situation. Now items. These three items are the main Tamus items which will reveal his potential by 100%. Other items are situative. For example, you can change Queen's Wings to Dominance Eyes and Immortality to Antiquio Cuirass or Blade Armor, use Warrior Boots instead of Tough Boots and so on. It's depending on the situation too. I strongly recommend you not to use Windtalker, Demon Hunter Sword or War Axe instead of Bloodlust Axe. Tamus will lose a lot in his survivability in such case. Maybe it's profitable to buy those items when you want to play jungling Tamus, but it's a question that isn't solved yet. Tamus is a classical explainer and this is the best option to use this hero now. Other options like jungling Tamus need to be tested. As for me, such options are very risky and they have many disadvantages. But if you want to test it by yourselves, you will have to change defense and attack speed for physical attack and physical penetration in fighter emblems. It will be interesting to read your impressions about new Tamus and your opinions about this episode. Tell me about it in the comments. See you guys!